All right, boys, Path of Exile 2 now. I'm currently on Act 2 Cruel, making my way, and I've been working on this build. I've been trying some things. I've been waiting to get the Railgun, the big plasma burst. Currently, I'm sitting in Act 1, but I just got to Act 2 Cruel. It's been very, I'm not gonna lie, it's been very slow. Mercenary is, until you get, which last night, right after I ended stream, I did because I was about to go into like the moving caravan, and there was like one hyena boss you gotta fight, and I was like, let me just kill that before I go to bed. I got the skill gem level 13, which allowed me to get Plasma Blast. Attack damage, as you can see here, 1,494% attack damage. Now, this is huge. And basically, I haven't really had something for this build that's been like good for bossing. It's just been mob clearing. Bossing's been pretty slow. Like, I've had grenades, I've been poisoning. I've had like the hailstorm rounds, rapid fire. I never really found a good groove with that. So Mercenary's been a little slow to start, but right now I'm gonna throw it up on screen as I talk here. I've been pumping a lot of lightning, and I started with freeze. I was doing cold damage, then I kind of went with some fire, and then I was using Herald of Ash, still using Herald of Ash, and then I got Herald of Thunder, and I finally got enough spirit points that I could throw that on there, and now that combo is just clearing mobs. I have legendary boots, or well, unique boots, that trigger decompose skill and step. So as I was slowly killing the mobs, like, you know, for the first 3 acts of the game before you get the cruel, it was adding poison and plague, and then I was, you know, exploding those poison clouds with grenades. And but now that I have Plasma Blast, the Railgun, my DPS is through the roof now, and the rest of the game is going to be a breeze. I'm really happy with how it's turning out, so I just wanted to give an update to where I'm going, kind of what skills I've spec'd into, you know, how once you get that level 13 skill gem, and you know how to build this. So yeah, all right, let's start here. So look, I have these uniques here: trigger, decompose, skill, and step. Now I'm clearing mobs so fast that it doesn't matter anymore. They die before they explode, and then there's nothing around to sit and get poisoned. But this was very helpful beginning of the game, first 3 acts. But this is also a unique, and not everybody's going to have it. So there's that. But if you do manage to get this drop, this is what I had on it. I had decompose up a corrosion on it, so it broke their armor. It would break the armor so fast, and then bursting plague, they would explode with plague damage. And then crossbow shot, I've been kind of trying to figure out what works best with this, because you load your bolts and then you use crossbow shot to shoot, and sometimes it feels like if you socket stuff into here, it adds this on top of, like, say I use Plasma Blast, it uses this, but it also has a chance to proc these. I can't really figure that out. Sometimes it feels like it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. I haven't really looked around to see what some other builds are doing, or what people have spec'd into this, if it even works at all. If you guys have any insight on that, let me know. Trying to figure this game out. But yeah, so I got fiery death, whatever. Fiery. Because I ignite enemies with Herald of Ash, and I was trying to get, when you know I run around with the boots and they kill, I was trying to get that to ignite the poison clouds. The only way I could do it was if I used the explosive round, the like one big boom that like explodes everything. I was using that for a long time. I was like my bossing big hit. I would poison and just boom, boom. But I was trying to get this. I wanted to put, I think if I could put that on decompose, since that breaks the armor, that would explode, and maybe, but since you know, it was on my boots, I couldn't add another slot to it, so you know, we'll never know. But I put that here. It's really not doing anything because this doesn't ignite the enemies. So yeah, pierce, ignition. Oh yeah, I do have ignition on there, but yeah, it just wasn't working. So maybe this crossbow shot nothing happens with the I don't know. I'll have to like completely get rid of everything and see. Something I'll have to do one day. So right now my biggest bossing is Plasma Blast here. So once you get a level 13 uncut skill gem, you can get Plasma Blast. Now I'm spec'd very heavy into lightning damage. I'll show the skill tree after we go over the skills here. Very heavy into lightning. So once you have a good chance to shock and electrocute enemies, these skills just get really crazy. Now if you see here, just on Plasma Blast, converts 70% of physical damage to lightning damage. Now, I was just trying to get lightning damage everywhere I could. And then I was like, well, I'm doing elemental damage. I started expecting like elemental nodes. I was like, it's not scaling. Like, it's scaling, but it's not scaling like I wanted to. And then I started reading the tooltips here. And I'm like, oh, it literally just converts physical damage to lightning damage. And then the explosion converts 100% of physical damage to lightning damage. So I'm like, it's better to just stack physical damage. So that's what I've been doing. But yeah, so I have Plasma Blast. I got Scatter Shot. Fires 2 additional projectiles. So instead of just doing one big railgun, it goes boom, 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 just 3. And I'm working on, right now I have 10% chance to ricochet off terrain. And there's times where like the boss will be at a wall and I'll shoot the 3 blasts. And there's times where one of them ricochets, hits the wall, goes through the boss, hits the wall, comes back, pierces the enemy again, and does even more damage. So I think I found a way to get a 30% chance. I just have to get to the nodes of it bouncing off the terrain. But I think that's going to be big, especially for bossing when they're in an arena against a room. Because if you can do 3 of those beams and get 1 or 2 of those to jump off the wall and come back and hit for a second time, it's just massive damage. So that's pretty cool. So I got that, right? I got Inevitable Critical. So basically while you're charging it up, I don't know if it's like while you're charging, like holding the skill, which takes like, I would say, what, 2-3 seconds to power up? 2+ seconds to total attack time. It feels like it takes longer. 20% less cast speed. Yeah, so about 3 seconds. So you're getting a 75% crit chance. Or when it gets to max, it's 100% crit chance, whatever. It's big for this. Ambush. I start with this. Now I do have Decimating Strike. So if you don't get the highest Decimating Strike proc at 30%, this will help. Well, maybe not, because I think it's no matter what, 5 to 30% chance. So if you only do 5% damage and this does more damage than that, you're only going to see the 5% and then the other 2 are going to hit. But I don't know if because that first hit takes them off of full life, that the second and third hit proc 100% crit chance, because you think about it, you shot it while it was at full life. So do the other 2 beams still get that 100% chance, or since it comes off full life, that 100% chance is gone? I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know. Maybe someone can tell me. So emergency reload, I wasn't using that at first, but then I was like, I probably should. So this is huge, right? Maximum buff duration is 6 seconds. I made it like around 8 seconds. Buff empowers loaded bolts with 23% more damage. Now, obviously I still have to up the quality of these gems. I have to get more slots. I've been seeing videos of people like Val orbing them, all that stuff. I'm waiting until I get a 5 link, or I don't even know if you can get a 6 link yet, in early access, to bump up the quality. But emergency reload here, I have premeditation. Skills empowered by supported skills deal 15% more damage. So I get the 23 plus a 15. So you're looking at 38% more damage, but it does have a 45-second cooldown before the gems, right? Supported skills have 40% more skill effect duration. So 40%, you're looking at 2.5 seconds. So yeah, right around 8.2 seconds, I would say, that this is active, which is pretty good. And then I have Ingenuity, which is supported skills have 30% increased cooldown recovery rate. So instead of 45 seconds, it's like 34, 35. Not too bad. But basically with the emergency reload, let me show you real quick. You have to use it while you're already on the bolts you want to use, fully loaded, ready to go. If you pop it and then switch your ammo, you lost it. It's gone. So, did I lose internet? Here we go. Okay, so like right now, if I want them on, I'll switch. Do you see how the 15 is white? Now, if I press emergency reload, it turns yellow. So now they're empowered, right? So we gotta wait for the cooldown. All right, we're back online. So I'm on a little galvanizing blast here. So if I press emergency reload, let's reload this first, okay? I'm on galvanizing shots. If I press emergency reload, it turns this to yellow, but then if I switch to this isn't yellow. It's just regular. So you can brick your emergency reload if you need to be on the skill you need, like you need to have the ammo loaded that you're ready to use. So like I'll start with the blast, right? I'll go boom, right? And then I'll switch because that shocks them. Then I switch to the rapid fire lightning, whatever it's called. What the hell is it called? Shock burst rounds. And then I'll hit emergency reload and then I'll blast it. So let's do that again just to show. We'll blast this. It'll shock them. I switch to this, emergency reload, and then just go. I'll press the wrong button, whatever. Yeah, but just keep in mind that you can brick it if you hit emergency reload and then go to switch your skill, your ammo. I did that at first when I was trying to like figure out how to play this properly. I was like, why? What's going on? Okay, so that's all of emergency reload. I was using grenades pretty heavily. I unspec'd out of them on the passive skill tree just because I had the what I have on this that fires additional projectiles. I had that on grenades, so I was dropping 3 grenades. I was gonna get cluster bombs to blow up like my poison clouds, and then I was like, I'm specking into lightning. We're changing it up. So explosive grenades not used on this build. Now I saw that you're supposed to have technically 90 spirit points by the end of Act 3. One of the guides I saw, because I was missing 30, said you get it in Act 2 at some like tome, and it never gave it to me. So I don't know if you're only supposed to have 60, but you can put 1 skill gem into these. I believe the level 1. If you put a level 2 support into one of the herald skills, it makes it to 50 spirit, and I only have 60 right now. And I think sure I could like spec, I guess, more spirit onto like a chest piece or something, but as of right now I'm just running 1 support gem each just because I don't have enough spirit. But I've been running Herald of Ash ever since I got it, and when you overkill an enemy, it causes an explosion that ignites nearby enemies. Okay, so it's big. I took it off to just see what Herald of Thunder did, and it wasn't as good. It wasn't doing as much damage. This does a lot of damage, but combined with this is really big. Now they did just nerf cast on freeze, cast on ignite, cast on shock, like into the ground. Like you've been on YouTube, you see all the big guys talking about it. Huge nerf. I was thinking about going cast on shock since I shocked the hell out of enemies and doing like ball lightning, but your crossbow needs just as much strength as you have dexterity, and I would have needed like a little over 100 intelligence to use ball lightning if I did cast on shock, and I would have had to, I probably would have gotten rid of Herald of Ash here. But basically I don't think, especially with where I'm at in the skill tree, I'm not going to be able, unless I really boost stats on my gear, I'm not going to be able to have over 100 of all attributes. I'm sure it can be done, but I'm like, probably not worth it. So maybe cast on shock with this build could be something you could experiment with. But right now I've got Herald of Ash. I've been running this since as soon as I got it. And I have this with 40% more area of effect because it is an AoE. So when they explode, they just go further out. It seems to work. And then Herald of Thunder, what I have on here is supported attacks gain 25% of damage as extra lightning damage, and then deal less cold and fire. But honestly, I'll probably remove that and put that on, I don't know, once I get more gem slots on like the blast or one of my actual lightning shots. And then there's a skill gem where it's like gain 1% of life. I think it's called Vitality. Gain 1% of life while a Herald skill is active, or while whatever skill you put it on is active. So since the Herald skills are always active, you'll just always get that 1% life regen, and there's also one that, as long as it's active, you get 30% accuracy. Might be something to look into. And then galvanic charge. As soon as I got this, like I said, I was using the regular shotgun blast, then I was using the freezing shotgun blast. As soon as I got this, back into it. So basically, with this, if you look, it just does the shotgun. I don't know why. Go. So converts 40% of physical damage to lightning damage. Knocks back enemies. If you look, it also has a beam, which converts 100% of physical damage to lightning. So again, physical is the way to go. But it chains lightning beams when they hit enemies. Now, I need a level 3 support gem. I haven't seen one drop yet. I'm not far enough. And there's something called Fork, which basically, I don't remember exactly what it does, but I know it hits an enemy. I think it splits into 2, or it hits an enemy and like bounces off a certain way. But it's not, it's like chaining, but a little different. I haven't been able to use it yet, so I'm not really sure how it reacts, but it should be good for this shot. But basically, once it hits and the lightning starts chaining, it does 100% of your physical damage to lightning, and it's so good. Hailstorm rounds, I was using this. I would set this up for, especially for boss that didn't move a lot, and it would just dump like 21 rounds straight on and kind of freeze. I'm not using this anymore. Probably get rid of that. And then this is besides opening with the railgun, this is the bread and butter of this build right now. Shock burst rounds. I didn't like, at first I was like, it's not doing a lot of damage, and then I realized that once you use this after you shock an enemy, and then for a shocked enemy, the pulse damage, so this is just 30% attack damage. You get the attack speed's fast, right? Pulse damage, again, 119% attack damage. It'll go higher once you know, get the quality of the gem up. Converts 100 of physical damage to lightning damage. So once you like activate the skills, because like obviously it's only 40%, but once you activate it, all of these skills get to 100% of physical to lightning. This is big damage. It's crazy. Like if I go in advanced info, like right now, DPS per second with the pulse is 6,426. Now I'm only level 54, so it's only going to get crazier. And once I get better gear, like right now, I've got to get rid of my belt. But like, I'll take it out right now and show you guys just how crazy it gets. But I got to get rid of these boots just because decompose is not helping me anymore. And the belt, when I was using the grenades, mana was draining so fast. I had six grenades on the cooldown, and each grenade dropped 3. So I was dumping 18 grenades at a time. It just eat mana. I was taking a lot of damage. So this was very helpful. But now it's time to get rid of it. So I'm about to get a pretty big boost from belt and boots. But as far as like the actual stats, I was pumping lightning damage into like with the runes and stuff, but I think now I'm just gonna heavy go on physical. There is a rune. Let's go see real quick. It's in the chest. This could also be good in a weapon. It's a two-handed, so I'm assuming it could get 2 sockets. Leeches 3% of physical damage as life. So if you're always just blasting these fast rounds, you figure if you're like standing in something or you're taking damage during a boss fight, you're blasting 15 rounds in a second or 2. That's huge life leech, right? So that could probably be good. Where is it? Martial weapon, 20% increased physical damage. Now I don't know, I haven't had a 2-saki yet. I don't know if I could have 2 of these iron runes in the crossbow, but if that's the case, a 40% increase to physical damage would be absolutely devastating. So it's just something we still have to mess around with and figure out. But as of right now, that's how I have my gems set up. And, you know, kind of my gear is mainly crit chance, crit damage, and physical damage. I was going hard on the lightning damage, but since, like I said, everything is 100% physical to lightning, I'm probably going to start... I'll keep... If I get lightning, cool. But physical damage is just better. So yeah, let's look at the skill tree. So I have I've or ascendancy points. Now my goal here, I've been seeing like before, you know, early access launch, people going for this 10% chance for enemies you kill to explode, dealing 100% of their maximum life as physical damage. Now that's huge for clearing mobs and maps. But the more I played the game and the more I've been getting in, I'm like, I just don't have a good bossing strategy until now. So now that I have a good bossing, and now that Herald of Thunder and Fire is just wiping mobs, and it's only going to get better, I'm like, I don't need this. I don't need this at all. So I was like, do I want the shield? Do I want sorcery ward? That could be good, especially if I'm like hanging back. And I could get this, and then there's also a node which I'm kind of gonna be right next to. Can evade all hits, but 70% less evasion rating. That, with the sorcerer ward, could, like, if you're really struggling with defense, could be huge. I don't think I'm gonna go that route. So I think what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to go with the center one here. So I'm gonna get Witchbane, which is enemies have maximum concentration equal to 40% of their life. Break enemy concentration on hit equal to 100% of damage dealt. Enemies regain 10% if they haven't lost any in 5 seconds, but we're going to be just blasting damage, so they're always going to have that debuff. And then once you cool down recovery, 12%, that'll be good for emergency reload. This is going to be better than any of the other nodes. Like, I don't have any plans to swap weapons, so switching 20 passive points to weapon set skill points, just not a big deal. Like I said, if you're going to struggle with defense, sure. If you want to clear mobs, great. But I think this is going to be the way to go. Deal up to 30% more damage to enemies based on their missing concentration. So it's going to be very easy to get that concentration going, and then an extra 30% damage is huge. So I'm going to work on that. And what I have, so basically I've come down, I've got all the projectile damage and more projectile damage. Now, this is one of the nodes I was saying where it chains from the terrain, like how the railgun, I've seen it bounce off the terrain and come right back and deal. It's crazy. So this is where you get that right out of the gate. Now I've gone down and I grabbed the two-handed damage here. I mean, you're looking at 30, 36, 48, 60 plus 40. So this is 100% increased damage with two-handed. Crossbows two-handed. Huge. Absolutely huge. Area of effect for attacks. I don't know if that works with the Herald skills. Yeah, that directly use your equipped weapon to damage enemies. So I might get rid of that. The strength boost is nice, but if we could save a node, I might do that because I don't have this. I'm like, I don't need the extra accuracy. So now that I look at that, I might get rid of that because that's not gonna. The only area of effect we have are our Herald skills, and that's not gonna change that. So then I went over here. I got the 20% critical hit chance, and then 80% increased critical hit chance if you haven't dealt a critical hit recently. So I've never made one of the Path of Builders or whatever website most of these guys use. So if you guys want me to like make one for like Act 1, 2, 3, and then update it as I get further in the end game, I can definitely figure that out and do that. So let me know down in the comments. Still new to these games, but I can figure it out. So, but if recently is 4 seconds. So if I haven't done a crit in 4 seconds, I get an 80% chance to do it, which that scales off, you know, whatever you have. So it's not an actual. Is it? I don't know. But it's 100% extra damage. So that's a big node to have. And then I came up and I grabbed projectile damage because everything we do is projectile. Every one of our attacks is projectile. We'll lose some attack speed here, which not the worst, but we get an extra 40% projectile damage plus stun, which you will notice with this that you stun enemies when you're just blasting all your rounds. It's very strong. And then more projectile damage, 16% projectile damage, and you get more accuracy at close range. So this was huge for me. And then I went and I spec'd into some lightning, 30% lightning. Now shock and electrocute are huge. So 15% shock. Shocking has a 50% chance to also shock enemies within a 1.5 meter radius. So when you have mobs, they're just all going to get electrocuted. Electrocute build up, 50% chance to build up on shocked, and shock chance to get us electrocuted. So that's huge. And then I originally was coming down here, and I forget what I grabbed. I respect. Oh, I spec'd. I had grenade damage here, and I had the grenade fuse duration. I grabbed these, but I was like, I don't want my projectiles to be slow. I want my attack speed and my projectiles to be fast. The faster I can get the hits out, the faster I can stun them with the electrocution and get the build up and do extra damage, the better I'm gonna be. So I unspec'd that, and I came straight down. Movement speed if you've killed recently, attack speed if you've killed recently. This is huge. Crossbow reload speed, that's 70% right there. This is probably like the biggest thing for Mercenary. The faster you can reload and blast more out, the more damage you're gonna do. So then I came up here. I was gonna get these Herald skills, but now that I looked at it, could be good. 30% increased area of effect, 30% increased damage. So you could get 70% increased damage with more area of effect. Like that could be huge. So I don't know. That's on the back burner for now. So I came up here and I came into elemental damage, so I can get an extra 25% chance to shock and electrocute build up. I had this. I had the like everything here, but this one. I might come back and get another, penetrate another 15%. That could be good. And then I came down to these lightning nodes. I'm grabbing all these. I still need to grab these. Lightning damage with non-critical hits is lucky, which lucky rolls twice, gives you the higher. So that's pretty big. And then I'm working on right now getting more attack speed. I'll grab this one. I'll get this. I'm not really worried about blinding. I just want this extra 10% attack speed here, but I got to come up to get that. And then obviously this crossbow node is going to be absolutely huge for damage. Straight at the bottom here. More reload speed. That puts us at 100% reload speed. When you're switching your ammunition, you're going to get extra damage. I think I'm switching between like 3 different types. So that's 75% increased damage in the past 10 seconds when I'm swapping through. And then coming down and getting... I have reduced attack speed, but critical damage bonus is going to go up. And then I think I'm going to spec into attack damage versus rare or unique, which I want to say unique counts against bosses. I don't know. If somebody can let me know, it'd be great. And then at least get Giant Slayer here. 20% chance or increased chance to inflict ailments against rare unique enemies. It's kind of hard to shock and electrocute the bosses, so this is going to help with that. And then as far as that, I might come up and grab more projectile damage, and not the pierce right here, the terrain 5, 10, and then another 10, so 20% chance to chain off the terrain. I'm probably going to grab that. I mean, you can't go wrong with more projectile damage. And then I'm probably going to grab these more. That's 45% electrocute buildup plus a 40%. So that's 85% increased electrocute buildup plus a 30% shock chance against. So that's huge. So we're going to need that. And then I am going to come up. I got a dual socket I can use. I'm going to come up here. I might grab this skill speed and movement speed. Actually, I will grab that. There's some more lightning right here. Magnitude of shock you inflict. Shock duration. I'm probably going to have to grab this. 90% shock duration. That's going to be huge. If we can, because right now I can get about 1.5 clips out of the rapid fire lightning, which is like big damage before the shock wears off. So I can double that and get like 2.5, 3 clips out. They're gonna be dead. I'm gonna have to spec into this. I'm gonna have to spec into that big time for sure. But then I plan on coming up. Oh my god, there's more here. We probably won't need all of this, depending on how many points we have left. Okay. But then once I come up here, what's wrong? Earlier. I'm probably gonna grab some of this crit damage bonus. and crit chance. Depends on how many nodes I have left, but for sure, before I grab any of those nodes, I'm coming all the way up here, and I'm grabbing this Herald damage. 12% increased damage while affected by a Herald. 24% chance. Your Heralds are always active, so that's just a straight 24% increase. The reservation, I'm probably not going to worry about. I'm just not going to have a lot of spirit, and they do what it's intended. I'd rather just pump damage. But then this one, right? So we get the 24% flat, and then fire damage, 50% fire damage while affected by Herald of Ash. So when they explode with the Ignite, they'll do 50% more fire damage. And then the big one here, 50% increased lightning damage while affected by Herald of Thunder. So we're not really doing the fire damage. That's probably going to affect, like I said, the Ignite. 50% increased lightning damage while affected by Herald of Thunder. Herald of Thunder is always on, and we're doing lightning damage. So we get a 50% boost to lightning damage. That is absolutely massive. So I'm coming up here next. Probably before I go down to the crossbow node. Yeah, reservation. So this is huge. I have to come up here to grab these. I have to. And then I'm like, do I want to get that? We don't know. But that's my plan. That's my skill tree right now. That's my plan. Let's just go out and hit this boss one more time. Just well, the girlfriend's in a meeting, so I gotta be quiet. But we're just gonna run up and kill that boss one more time just to show you guys. It's just the closest one I have. I mean, this damage is just big no matter how you look at it, but you can see these enemies just exploding and getting hit with lightning. It's clears mobs so well. Like, watch this. Ready? Dead. That's it. They're done. And like I see what I mean about the poison. I don't need this anymore because it's all dead. Alright, so we're going to go to the boss. We're going to switch our plasma beam. We're going to charge it up. Emergency rounds. Wait for... They'll be shocked after we hit them with it. We're just going to blast. And you'll see it, like, floating above them. Prep it. Ready? Going to go and blast him. And our decimating strike's going to go off. Look at that. Huge damage. Look at that. Shock already wore off. Gets shock back. Shock is back. It's crazy, and she's dead. It's just, it's wild, right? Wild. So basically, start with the blast, go be shocked, switch to shock burst rounds, emergency reload, blaster. As soon as it wears off, switch back to galvanize, get her shocked again, switch back to shock burst, and just go to town. That's it. That's it. That easy, boys. Anyway, let me know what you think of this build. I will update it as, I mean, we still got a ton of, I think there's, what do they say? You get them all 123 points. So this build's only going to get stronger. It's just so satisfying being able to really have like a big single target, you know, ability now. So, but yeah, man, this, I mean, we have Culling Strike, but also spec into more low life damage. But I'm like, it's under 38, 35%. Worry about it. But yeah, anyway, let me know your thoughts. You know the drill. Subscribe, come back. See you on the next one.